Morning to you and welcome along to our one-on-one interviews with our candidates for the local government elections for 2024. It's a pleasure to welcome our first guest, Mayor Peter Johnstone. Good morning.
Good morning, Damien.
Thank you for your time today. Mayor Johnstone, first of all, for people that may not know who you are, tell us a bit about Peter Johnstone, the Mayor.
Okay, well, I was born in Zimbabwe. I lived in the UK for many, many years, and I moved here to Australia about 12 years ago. So we moved here because it was a lovely place to come to. We wanted to come to Australia. We chose Grafton because it's got those wonderful beaches, it's got the wonderful river, it's got the mountains, transport links, lots of schools for me, and of course my wife is a doctor, so there was a great place for her to work here. And we've been very, very happy, and our kids have done very well.
And you're a school teacher as well?
That's right. So I've been a teacher for 27, nearly 28 years. And but you know, I've moved on from that now. I still do a little bit of teaching, a little bit of tutoring, but really I'm doing other things now, mainly with the council.
You've got a very interesting background outside of teaching and outside of the council. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it was quite interesting. I did aeronautical engineering at university, and I didn't realise at that stage just how much I was learning there that would be applicable to my present job, because we learned, it was just coming in at that stage, something called computational fluid dynamics, which is looking at the way water and air work, but using computers rather than doing it by paper and pen. And of course that was very applicable to the flood model that we looked at in the last year as council. And other things there, they had, one of my lecturers was very involved with the first wind turbines.
Wow.
And I remember when we were doing all of our lab work, there was a third scale model of wind turbine. I wasn't involved with that bit, but a third scale model of wind turbine. And of course now they're all over the place, and it's a huge number going up in Australia. So it's a very interesting degree to do, and it really is applicable now in ways I would never have imagined.
Do you think the Clarence Valley could ever see wind turbines somewhere around the Clarence Valley?
Look, I think there's got to be the right place to put them. And personally, I don't think the Clarence Valley is the right place. And but you need just the right sort of topography and everything else, and the right amount of wind. But not only a bit of wind, but you need to have that wind consistently over months and weeks and so on. And I don't think that we have that here. So I don't think we're the right location. But yes.
What led you to stand for council 2 and a bit years ago?
Well, I'd always been interested in politics, and I was involved with the Nationals Party, and I still am. But somebody there said, have you considered standing for council? And the truth was I never really had. But I looked into it, and it was about half a year before the election, and I thought, let's do this. And I did. I thought I'd make a difference, and I believe I have.
So tell me a little bit about why you've decided to rerun for another four years.
Well, becoming a councillor is a very steep learning curve. And so, you know, I learned all of the stuff about what to do as a councillor. And this council term has been very short as well. It's normally 4 years, but because of COVID, they decided to put back the elections for more than a year, nearly 2 years. And so we've actually had a very short term. But the real thing is I think I've laid the foundations now, particularly as I've been mayor for a year. That's only just started. I've learned what the job is, and I really feel that this is the time now where I can do so many more things.
Do you feel there's some unfinished business for you as mayor?
Well, absolutely. I mean, both upwards and downwards, if I put it that way. In terms of talking to state and federal and the other mayors in the area, I've formed great contacts and great links. But to really maximise those, I need the time to work with people over a period of time to make sure we get the Clarence Valley and our needs and our opportunities, because there's huge opportunities here, but our needs and opportunities understood by people outside the Clarence Valley.
And I guess you've been able to rub shoulders with a fair few federal and state ministers.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, just last week I was speaking to the Assistant Minister for Education. He came to visit us here, and that was a lovely chat with Mr. Chisholm. But so yes, there've been those opportunities, and as I say, working with the other mayors and neighbouring mayors, I've met them all now, and I know how that works. Of course, that could all change in a couple of weeks. But yes, so that's why I think I should be carrying on. And there's a lot of unfinished business, as you say. I would like to start up a youth council so that we have more input from the people who can't actually yet vote. That'll be one of the things. And there's lots of things with you know, educating people about the flood levels. That'll be another thing. And there's a lot of other issues and things I'd like to bring together, but just started, so I want to carry on.
It's been a very interesting term of council for you, hasn't it? You've certainly seen the good and the bad and the ugly, I guess you could say, in one sense of the word. As Mayor, do you feel that you've been able to bring the troops together and sort of be as one again?
Well, I think so. I genuinely get on, I feel, pretty well with all the other councillors. I said several times in the last couple of weeks actually how much I've appreciated them all, and they've all been part of making that a success. And with councillors, we've all been elected by effectively 11% of the population, and we represent all the diverse views across the area, and we come with a different group of strengths and weaknesses. And the idea really as a leader is to try and bring those strengths all together to make us much, much stronger as a whole. And I believe we've done that as a council. We've really come together in the last year. And I'd like to see with the new council we carry that on, because that can only be for the good of the people here.
There's a whole range of different people from different backgrounds and different, I suppose, experiences that are running for council on September 14. Looking at the names, do you feel whoever is elected, if you're elected, you'll be able to work alongside them?
Absolutely, and that's part of our job really, to work together. Because that's right, those people have not been appointed by me or anybody else, they've been appointed by the electorate. And that means that the electorate wants us to work together for the good of our community. So yes, I believe very strongly that that is what we should do, and work together, draw on people's strengths. There are councillors who are very good at knowing about agriculture and have contacts with farmers. I don't have those same links, and so we should use those councillors for that. We had councillors in the last term that were very into tourism, and again, an area that I know very little about. And then you've got things like people who are keen on business and so on. So we draw on the strengths of people to try and make us a very, very, very strong council. And I'm looking forward to that opportunity.
There's been some very tough decisions for this current council to make in the last 2 and a bit years. The pool, for example, was a tough decision to close that, and then obviously to make the decision to borrow a significant amount of money.
Yes.
And also for the Treelands Drive, we know the controversy behind that. What would you say are some of the achievements of this current council?
Well, there's been quite a few things. There's the water agreement we've come up with COFs that was just finalised 2 months ago, which is really, really good. We've decided on where the location is going to be for the Grafton sewage treatment works. These are all things that really most people won't be thinking about day by day. I hope they're not thinking about sewage too much. But these are things that are going to be very important for us. I think also connected to that, we've introduced a new flood model, which is a prediction of what might happen, and our flood planning levels, which is how we're going to build our houses in the future. And the next step with that, of course, is to educate people and to make sure that the community understand what these flood levels mean and potentially what might happen in a really, really bad flood and what we should be preparing for. But that's really the next thing that's going to be happening with that, and that's going to be taking that forward. So other things, we've introduced the water pipe to the airport, which is going to make a big difference for firefighters in terms of your water bombers when we have bad bushfires. It also means that we can do more development around the airport, which is, I think, something that's going to be coming in the future.
Obviously, September 14 isn't far away. If you are elected as a councillor, will you be putting your hand up to rerun as mayor?
Oh, very much so, yes. Look, I've enjoyed being a councillor and I've enjoyed being the mayor, and if the decision of the councillors here, the mayor is elected by the councillors, if the decision of the councillors is that I'm not mayor, well, I'll carry on as a councillor. But I've made all these links with people. I think I've done a good job of bringing the councillors together, making us a more unified whole. And as we said earlier on, that's unfinished business, and I'd like to have the opportunity to take that further and perhaps have at least 2 years as a mayor rather than just the one I've had so far. I've started, but I haven't yet finished.
I know that you paid tribute to former Mayor Ian Tiley, who's been a councillor for
Absolutely.
6 decades.
Yes, indeed.
So he'll be very much missed by you and obviously the community from his knowledge. Will you be reaching out to him if you need to?
If I need to, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've also said to him, please do contact me if you think there's something I should be considering. So it was really lovely to have Ian alongside me there, and he did give me bits of advice that I really appreciated. So, and look, if I'm not the mayor, then I will offer the same to whoever succeeds me.
Just finally, what do you hope to achieve if you're elected in the next council? What are some of you mentioned about the youth council, which is great for the youth of the Clarence Valley, but what are some of the other things?
Well, I think mainly, let's talk about people, first of all. A lot of our community are finding things really tough at the moment, but I have to say, of all the places for things to be tough, the Clarence Valley probably is one of the better places to live. But I'd like to really say thank you to a lot more people. There's a lot of people who are doing a lot of things as volunteers, whether it's for sports clubs, whether it is for homeless people, whatever else is going on in the community. And really, I'd like to be saying thank you to more people. I'd like to get in contact with more people. Since I've been mayor and since I've been a councillor, I've got to know people from every corner of our local government area, and that's something I thoroughly enjoy. And I'd like to do some more of that and saying thank you to people who need to, we're often unsung heroes who are doing great things for our community.
And you yourself are a volunteer in many different
Sure.
roles too.
Well, yes, I am a firefighter, and I help with the committee of the sports club and those sort of things. But lots of people are volunteers as well. But yes, I thoroughly enjoyed the RFS. But there's so many opportunities here. We've got the Surf Lifesavers, we've got Marine Rescue, we've got the SCS, Meals on Wheels. There's people who do land care and those sort of things where they're doing environmental charities. They're trying to restore perhaps the damage that we've done with invasive weeds and those sort of things. So there's a huge number of people who just show care to other people or care to the environment, and those are the people we should really be celebrating.
Yeah, for sure.
So for me, I do genuinely care about people, and I hope that comes across.
So just finally, another final question. Why should people vote for Peter Johnstone on September 14?
I think for stability, first of all, for the experiences that I have and the skills and qualifications that I have. And I think for the leadership I bring. So please do vote for me. Please do vote Peter Johnstone number 1. And I hope to see you back as a councillor and hopefully as mayor too in 2 months' time.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.